Hi there, I'm Caitlin from the Regional Foundation Center at the Free Library of Philadelphia. Getting more out of Foundation Director Online is a video series offering tips and insights into some of the lesser explored areas of Foundation Directory Online. Today, I'm going to show you how you can leverage recipient profiles to uncover new funding prospects. Recipient profiles display information about nonprofit organizations that are receiving funding. If you look at the profile of an organization that is similar to your organization, you might discover new insights and funding opportunities. A recipient profile will show you what types of funders are giving to your mission, where their funders are located, and will help you understand how much funders are giving to peers and how many grants a recipient is receiving. You will be able to see if similar organizations are receiving small grants, medium grants, or large grants. You will also be able to see a list of all the grants that recipient has received. This list can provide great insight into what programs are being funded and the funders supporting those programs. This list can essentially serve as a prospect list for you. Note that access to recipient profiles is only available in Foundation Director Online Professional. So you'll need to visit us at the Parkway Central Library to get access to recipient profiles. You can view recipient profiles using a couple of different methods. First, you can do an organization search. This method makes the most sense if you already have an organization in mind that you want to look up. You will simply type their name into the organization search box, and from there, you can view their profile. If you don't know of a similar organization, or you want to discover friendly competitors, you can do a subject search. Choose a subject area that best describes the work your organization does or what you are looking to fund. Your search results will contain a list of recipient organizations that have received grants for that subject area in the past. Whichever method you choose, once you are looking at a recipient's profile, the process of evaluating the information will be the same. So let's take a look at a recipient profile. I'm here on the Foundation Director Online Professional homepage. We're going to start by doing an organization search. We can do that by clicking Search by Organization. From there, we'll type in the name of the organization that we want to search for. So for our first example, I'm going to put in the Free Library of Philadelphia. From there, I can click on the arrow next to the organization's profile that I want to look at. A new tab will open with the recipient's profile. If I don't know the name of the organization I want to search for, then I can use subject area. So in this example, I want to see a list of all the nonprofits who are receiving grants for art education in Philadelphia. So I'm going to add arts education to the subject area box. And then I'm going to put Philadelphia in for the geographic focus. I'm then going to click search. If you've run a search in Foundation Director Online before, then these results should look familiar. We have grant makers, grants, and recipients. For today's purposes, we're just going to look at the list of recipients. I'm going to click this View All button so we can see the full list of recipients who are receiving grants for arts education in Philadelphia. So when you have this list in front of you, you can look through the list and see what organizations you might be familiar with, or judging by their name, you might be able to tell whether or not they're doing similar work to your organization. Once you find a recipient that you want to learn more about, you can click on their name. The first section of a recipient's profile has these three charts. The first chart is showing us what type of organizations are giving to this organization. So you can see that the majority of their grant dollars are coming from independent foundations. They're getting lesser grant dollars from public charities, corporate funders, community foundations, and governmental organizations. So if this organization is similar to you, this might help you figure out what types of organizations you should be approaching for funding. The next chart is showing us where those funders are located. So are most of their grant dollars coming from local funders, funders in the same state, region, or in the same country? Again, looking at this chart can give you a sense of how you should manage your efforts around what foundations to approach. The last chart will give you a sense of how large the grants are the recipient is receiving. So you'll see that the majority of their grants are less than $5,000, but they're getting a number of grants in other ranges as well. Again, if this is a similar organization to you, this can help you figure out where you should put most of your efforts. The next section of a recipient's profile is going to list out all the grants they've received that meet our search criteria. So we're looking at a list of the grants that this recipient received for arts education. We'll be able to see the name of the grant maker, where the grant maker is located, the primary subject of the grant, the year the grant was given, and the grant amount. This list is sorted by year, so the most recent grants will show up at the top. If you want to learn more about each of these grants, you can click on the name of the grant maker, and you'll be able to see a description of what the grant money was used for, as well as the subjects, population groups, and support strategies associated with this specific grant. Looking at the grant details can really bring this information alive and give you a better sense of what they're receiving funding for. If you want to learn more about the grant maker listed here, you can click on their name to look at their profile. Remember that the list of grants we're looking at right now are just the grants that this recipient received for arts education. If we want to see a list of all the grants this recipient received, we can clear our search filters by clicking this X. We'll then be able to see a list of all the grants this recipient received regardless of subject area. We can restore our search filters by hitting the Restore button. The next section of the recipient's profile is their funding interests. This is essentially what they are receiving grants for. So we know that they're receiving grants for arts education, but another subject they're also receiving grants for is ceramic arts. We then have their financial information. So if you wanted to look at this recipient's 990 or past 990s, you can do that here. And then at the bottom of the recipient's profile is their website. So if this was an organization that you were unfamiliar with or wanted to learn more about, you could look at their website. If I go back to our list of recipients, you may have noticed that some of the recipients have a little symbol next to their name that says either gold, bronze, silver, or platinum. Those symbols are telling us that these recipients have received a seal of transparency on GuideStar. And when you click on the recipient's name in their profile, you can see their seal of transparency. It's helpful to know if similar organizations to you have received a seal of transparency and what level that seal is. If you're seeing a lot of similar organizations to you who have received a seal of transparency, who are getting lots of grants, and you haven't received a seal of transparency yet, you might want to look into doing that. I do want to mention a few other applications for recipient profiles. Recipient profiles can also be useful for new nonprofits or individuals looking to start a nonprofit. Looking at organizations with similar missions will help you do an environmental scan. How many similar organizations already exist? Is there room for opportunity? How well funded are these organizations? You can also use recipient profiles to research partners or collaborators. In this case, you might not want to just find organizations doing similar work, but also organizations that can enhance or supplement your organization. For example, if your nonprofit is looking to start a tutoring program that utilizes senior citizens as tutors, you may want to research organizations that serve seniors or older adults. Lastly, if you get stuck trying to figure out the subject terms most relevant to your organization or work, using the funding interests and grant subjects in the recipient profiles can help you build your search. I hope you found this video on getting more out of Foundation Director Online useful. Please reach out to the Regional Foundation Center if we can be of assistance.